So let's start. Once again, this is your Kuya Nikki and this is Kuya Mick. Uh, he is our resident licensed immigration consultant. And ako naman, I am the owner of Sun-Cor. Kung magtatanong lahat, I am not an immigration consultant but I am an international education consultant. Ako po yung tumutulong na maghanap ng school at maghanap ng program sa inyo. And as a matter of fact, lahat ng member ng Student Permit Canada DIY PH, tinutulungan po namin kumuha ng LOA nang walang bayad. Libre lang po.
Yes.
At the same time, with our partner schools, actually, we can help you LOA with halos lahat naman ng DLI schools sa Canada. Hindi lang naman sa Ontario. Pero some schools kasi, they require IELTS talaga or other means of English exam. But pinopromote talaga namin yung mga schools na we can help you guys save money para lalo na yung mga registration fee, we can waive them. And we've been helping a lot of people na hindi namin mabilang kung yung natulungan namin, pero we don't count them. As long as natulungan namin sila, at the same time, they will also try to pay it forward by helping yung mga kakilala nila. So, yeah, that is Sun-Cor. Main namin ng company is we will guide you kung anong best school for you and best program for you. And then with the partnership with Sir Micmic, with his immigration agency, we can also process your visa, especially yung study visa,
permit, PR permit, PR application. We can process from something as simple as a tourist visa to something as complicated as avoiding deportation if you're out of status in Canada. So, yun po. But of course, we always encourage our fellow DIYers na try to do it DIY first. With DIY, you know na you always have to do a lot of reading, a lot of research. You always check and verify whatever you see on videos, on forums, or Facebook groups. I highly suggest that if you're doing DIY, you always check, do a reference check on the CIC website. That's the official website for this matters, just to make sure that whatever you're reading is actually proper information that's applicable to you.
And thank you, Mick. By the way, guys, sa mga nagtatanong, what are the requirements talaga pag mag-study? Sa mga bagong member dito ng Study DIY na group, hindi naman dapat college graduate, at least high school graduate sa atin. Some school are accepting those credentials. Hindi naman kailangan na graduate ka. May mga maraming tanong kasi, undergrad po ako ng college, pwede po ba ako mag-apply? Tapos yung mga nagsasabi na, sir, two-year program lang po ako, two years vocational graduate lang po ako, pwede po ba ako mag-apply? Yes po, ang sagot doon kasi ang minimum requirements is high school graduate lang po sa atin. And they can start with a diploma program. Usually mga diploma programs are a 1-year program. And then once they finish the 1-year program, and then they can start doing the postgrad if they want to continue. Okay, well, once again, yung IELTS po, para po sa lahat, ito nga, ilang beses ko lang inuulit sa mga bagong member din, hindi po siya mandatory sa pag-a-apply ng study visa. It all depends sa schools. Some schools, mandatory, but most of the schools, hindi po. Lalo na kung galing tayo sa Pilipinas. Ito nga, sinasabi ko sa mga nag-query sa akin, you can also directly go to the school. Wala namang problema yon. Or you can, lumapit kayo sa akin, I can help you, and maybe I can help you to waive some of the fees.
Sorry to cut you. Just to add lang, the benefit kasi if so I've been working with Sun-Cor with some of my clients, and the benefit with having somebody like Kuya Nikki to help you with LOA is sometimes it might be faster than if you go directly to the school. If you go directly to the school, it just goes into a specific shared inbox. But
Yeah.
if you go through to Kuya Nikki, you can find a proper channel for you to follow up, especially if it's something time sensitive. Sun-Cor has helped some of my clients with a very time sensitive applications. Let's just say, to make it simple, kung hindi nabigay mabilis agad-agad yung LOA, then all of their efforts to stay in Canada have failed. So I'd like to thank Sun-Cor for doing an amazing job for helping my clients with the LOA, because I do the study permit application is two parts. I'm sure you DIYers know this already, but for the benefit of our new members, it's two parts. First is you have to be accepted in a school first, a designated learning institution, in a school, and that's where Sun-Cor comes in. And without that one, you actually cannot apply for a study permit, even with my help. So the first step is actually to get the letter of acceptance, which is a critical portion of the application, a critical document, and is needed in the very first stage.
Yeah, and to add also into that, sometimes kasi pag didiretso kayo sa school, magkakaroon kayo ng conditional LOA. And then, maybe they are gonna ask you to take that exam once you get here in Canada. With Sun-Cor, we can help you waive those stuff.
Which is actually good, kasi
Yeah.
it makes studying
Yeah.
easier.
Tsaka nakaka-pressure din naman sa mga nag-apply. Lalo na yung mga nag-work at the same time, nag-apply ng process ng documents nila for study permit. And then they found out that they need to review for IELTS. It's not only malastos, it's also that will take some time of their preparation. Tsaka pressure din kasi you need to get at least 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So apart from the cost of the English test, the IELTS, for example, malaking bagay kasi yung, let's say, roughly $10,000, 10,000 pesos, sorry, na English test.
Plus yung yung
the waiting time,
review cost.
The review,
Kasi may mga review pa for IELTS. Okay, next step tayo. Once we get the LOA, so Sun-Cor can help you process the LOA. Most of the schools in Canada, like I said, most of the schools kasi sa Ontario, since nandito kami, we can help you waive both the IELTS or the English exam plus the registration fee. Because since my partnership, yung Sun-Cor with the school. Next question, may question kasi dito, bro. Kailangan ba related sa course nila o natapos nila yung pagiging nila, kukunin nilang subject program dito sa Canada?
So that's a classic DIY question. Kung accounting ako sa atin, kailangan ba accounting din yung kukunin ko? Primarily, yung kung mag-aaral ka abroad, it's usually for an upgrade, but it doesn't have to be related all the time. I've mentioned this many times already. I myself, as an international student before, what I did was economics graduate, IT, so it's not really related, but I had to explain that our business would not survive with the digitalization and modernization of technology. So I need to upgrade myself so that our business could transform and survive and won't become obsolete. So it depends on the person, it depends on the profile. You just have to be able to properly explain bakit ka mag-aaral. It's plain and simple. Bakit ka mag-aaral? In your statement of purpose or letter of explanation, magsisegue na ako dito, Mika. kasi this is something I always see sa mga post sa mga groups natin, ng mga members natin. The letter of explanation is a document where it's your platform to explain why you will be studying something. Whilst the ongoing trend, unfortunately, sa study DIY, it's becoming a life story that is sometimes too long to consume, and you have to consider the visa officer's time also in reviewing the application. Kung 5 pages yung study plan ninyo, it's very hard to consume everything na babasahin nila lahat yun. So, you have to focus on the main points. Why are you studying this? What's your plan? Usually people also say, why Canada? What's the they present what's the logic, what's the progression from studying this to this. Let's say you're an accountant studying supply chain, how does it relate if it's not hindi sila magkadikit? If you're a nurse, you're going to study health management. So, or let's say you're an IT professional studying as a baker or culinary arts. So medyo magkalayo siya. But if you could show the proper reason, for example, if you have an existing business that you want to expand and it's outside the domain of IT, and this is the reason why you have to study, then it makes more sense. It has to be something that you can justify. Let's go back to this culinary. You want to put up a restaurant, an independent restaurant, but you don't have a name, you don't have a market. And sa atin sa Philippines, we love something na export product. So if you study that would solidify your business, or it would be a good marketing tool, which would actually be a good return on investment. And then it makes sense. So you have to go by you have to go by that logic. Hindi yung you can't be limited to what you study, because in reality naman, people sometimes switch careers, and it's understandable. You just have to explain.
Exactly.
For example, I have a classmate from Brazil, gynecology siya, and we were studying programming together.
Gynecology.
Medyo malayo. So it's possible. It's just
Pwede siguro yung, if you want to explain I'm a nursing graduate, pero I wanted to be a chef. I want to study culinary. I have money to do a business. Kasi it's probably, it's how you defend it on your study statement of purpose siguro.
Yeah.
Hindi naman kailangan talaga in line sa program na natapos mo, yung kukunin mo. Pero mas mataas yung chance mo na siguro pag in line siya.
Or if it's an upgrade. Or if you could just explain why you needed to study that particular program.
By the way, if you guys didn't know that I'm the OWP. Yung wife ko yung student, and ako naman yung open work permit when we came to Canada. And may kasama kaming dalawang anak namin nung pumunta kami dito. Isang 1 month old, saka isang 10 months. Sabay-sabay po kami nag-apply. And then, with the help of Kuya Micmic, siya yung nag-process ng PR namin under CEC o Canadian Experience Plus. Tinuruan niya kami paano din mag-DIY. Kung may mga tanong kami, we always ask him kung paano the right way to do it. Once again, sabi nga ni Kuya Micmic, di po kay kung it worked with other applicants, it's always going to be, it will work also at your situation.
It's not a cookie cutter approach na we've been having clients na nagrereklamo, nagsusumbong, Kuya, ginaya ko yung ginawa ni Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so.
Yes.
Kasi sila na-approve. Bakit ako hindi?
Lalo na yung...
Kuya, yung SOP ni pinalitan ko lang ng pangalan ko, pati yung Bible verse, kinopya ko. Pero bakit ako hindi pumasa? So, syempre, each application is assessed individually based on your own merits. Not, it doesn't mean na kung pumasa dun sa isa, papasa din sa'yo. You have to do your due diligence in your application.
Yes, exactly. Saka yung isang napapansin ko din, bro, yung madam si Sir na, Kuya Nikki, mas madaling ma-PR sa other provinces. Pwede ba doon na lang kami?
Kung mas madali sa isang province, ang first question doon, sana nandun lahat.
Yun nga eh.
Sana nandun sila lahat. So for example, normally people would think other, let's say, pilot programs.
It's okay sa yung Alberta AIPP program.
For example, AIPP.
Yes.
which would end on December 2021.
Yes.
So it's employer driven. So we actually met some people who were there who actually had to go here kasi wala silang mahanap na designated employer. So that could be part of your reality when you're there. So what the takeaway from this is, if you would be basing your decision on, let's say, a video or a Facebook post you saw, make sure you evaluate first and do further research. Sometimes, some of our DIYers fall victim dun sa cookie cutter nga, na gumana for somebody, so it might work for me as well. And then, it could be something very costly. You might lose your time, your money, your opportunity.
So, you cannot blame them. Pag hindi gumana sa inyo, sasabihin mo natin, hey, ikaw kasi sinabi mo pwede, hindi pala yun
pa. Kasi sila, nag-share sila experience nila, pero it won't always work for you.
I think the same thing din yan sa mga paperwork. Like, for example, may nagtanong sa akin, really, okay lang ba yung hindi pa inauthorize yung mga documents ko?
Personally, sa akin, when I was still a student, none of my documents were notarized. But, let's say, support letter. Yes. My support letter had a signature and scanned IDs of, let's say, my relative who would be supporting me. I didn't have to do anything na ipa-notarize ko siya. I also had a support letter on my own spouse when I was applying for my study permit, and we didn't do any notary naman.
Pero is it much better kung i-notarize na lang din? Para sigurado ka, or
mga common law declarations, yes. But for others, hindi naman siya hard fast rule na kailangan notarized. If you check the CIC website and if you do start filling up the applications, you wouldn't see any mention kailangan siya notarized. Is it better? Maybe, because it becomes like a legit document. Yes. But if it's like a bank statement coming from printed officially in a bank's letterhead, then that's also legitimate.
Yes. Yung may isang question is, pwede lang ba yung bank statement o kailangan ba talaga bank certificate lang? Or I can just do both?
You could do both.
Mas malo kasi yun eh. Pag hiningin ka lang ng bank, kung binigay mo yung dalawa, is legit naman.
Yeah, kung wala naman kayong tinatago, why not both? Deliver naman. I mean, it's almost free if you ask your bank naman for it. I saw some questions. Wait, time check, 20 minutes na pala. Nandiyan pa ba sila?
Okay pa ba kayo?
May nag-review pa ba?
How many viewers tayo so far? Viewer check.
May question from EHS Angge. Sir, pwede pa ask question. International student po, plan to move in Alberta next year. After ng school, pwede po doon mag-apply ng PGWP. Dito po ako sa Toronto. So PGWP naman, it's not province-based.
Yes.
So if you want to move somewhere else, then it's fine. But if your plan is kasi if you're it depends also on the reason why you're moving to Alberta. Kung moving ka to Alberta for the Alberta Opportunity Stream, it's you have to double check again the documentation on that. Kasi some provincial nominations, for example, they require that you actually study there. And if you're a PGWP holder, in some provinces, you actually have to practice what you study. So if you finish, let's say, a marketing degree, your profession, your PGWP has to be in the marketing field. Hindi pwedeng for marketing, bigla maging computer programmer ka. So you have to check that one.
Yes. Shout out lang kay Isabel Jimenez Villano Duco watching us from Bohol, Calabarzon. By the way, guys, ako pala ay Bisaya food ko. Shout out sa mga Bisaya dira. I am from Iligan City, and my wife is also from Bohol, pero yung parents ko is from Cebu. Kung may mga Bisaya na nag-lisod o apply, please message me, and I will try the best to help you in our own language or dialect para hindi kayo mahirapan na express yung question.
Pero di ba, Kuya, apart from the Bisaya dialect, you also speak.
Yeah,
Also,
I also
number
speak.
of other dialects.
Yeah, kasi I studied in Pampanga, so I learned to speak Kapampangan. Pero hindi ako fluent, pero I understand. Shout out pala kay Kabalen, lalo na kay Angeles, Sampung Mabalakat. Doon po ako tumira for the last 10 years. Doon po ako nag-college. Yeah, you can also speak to me in Kapampangan, Ilonggo, basta any, comfortable kayo. And let's have another question, bro. Second question. Sa mga pending na application since March, Kuya, need pa ba mag-GCMS notes to get an updates?
So yung Global Case Management System notes.
That's GCM.
GCMS, yes. Global Case Management System notes. Usually, clients request this if they had denial. Pero pwede rin naman if you want.
Just to see the updates.
If you want to see updates, yes.
What's going on?
But you cannot do it yourself. You could actually
Need someone from
ask us to do it if you want.
We also offer GCMS notes. Actually, $5 to $10 na ata yun, bro.
Oh, it's
Yeah, but it should be coming from the person here in Canada yung mag-request with your authorization.
With your authorization, yes.
Correct.
Nakita akong question eh. Sorry, nabasa ko si Hazel naglalaba. Good luck sa paglalaba.
Yeah, shout out pala kay Hazel. Yan, isa din yan sa DIYers natin na PR. Namin sa DIY, discarding DIY episode 3 yung paano sila mag-PR. By the way, let me just share to you guys, si Kuya Mick dumating dito 2015, anong month, bro?
2015 July. So
Tapos yung wife na yung OWP.
So si Bossing dumating siya August 30, I think.
Hindi kayo survive, mga 1 month difference.
Hindi kami survive because I wanted to settle first and ang condition namin before, if she finds a job, then she comes here because we don't want to spend dollars while looking for a job. But luckily, as a behavioral therapist, she was able to immediately find a job. So this is one thing maybe OWP
The open work permit
holders can do is go to indeed.ca, that's indeed.ca. It's like Job Street or Monster in the Philippines for job boards. So, gawa kayo ng cover letter. In her cover letter, she said, I'll be having open work permit and I'm legal to work in Canada. Here are my credentials, blah, blah, blah. And then she actually got Skype interview, phone interview, and then she got the offer via email. And then,
wala pa siya dito sa Canada.
Wala pa siya dito. That's why we were able to expedite our PR application. We did it in 2 years or so. 2017, PR na kami. Yung PGWP ko and my PR was
hindi ka
days
na
apart.
PGWP.
Dumating siya, and then after a few days, dumating na rin yung PR approval namin.
Good. I mean,
So, yun.
isa yun sa mga diskarte ng mga OWP. Under
Yes.
CEC, di ba, bro?
Yes.
Canadian experience.
Under Canadian Experience Class pa rin. So, what's good for couples is there's a chance that we could expedite it if and some of our applicants kasi know this na pwede pala na yung spouse yung naging primary pagdating sa PR application.
Tulad sa akin, since
Actually, yes. Perfect example.
OWP, pagdating ko dito, mahirap kasi sa mga call center nagtatrabaho dyan, ako din. I've been working sa call center as customer service, tech support, as a workforce for almost 10 years sa Pilipinas. Dito na mga bilang ilang call center na puntahan ko. Yan, kasi from Pampanga to Manila, yun. Especially sa technical, kung technical, mas madali ka makahanap ng work dito. At the same time, yung sa workforce, yun ang trabaho ko ngayon. I'm a workforce analyst here. And it was considered a skill job. And yun yung trabaho ko kung bakit kami na-PR in less than 2 years' time. May tanong dito, bro. May mga agency kasi daw na pinupush pa rin sila mag-private.
May mga agency na pinupush mag-private.
So, nandito na sila ngayon. Ano yung best option nila?
Okay, so unfortunately, most if not all private schools, kahit na if you remember what I said earlier, kailangan DLI yung school nyo, designated learning institute. Kaso, unfortunately, it doesn't mean that if DLI siya, eligible din for PGWP after graduation. So, if you're in this situation na yung napili mong school is hindi siya PGWP eligible,
Yes. Donate sa website ngayon eh.
pwede naman kayo mag-change ng DLI
Yeah.
and then get a school na, let's say, maybe Sun-Cor can help you if it's time sensitive, para you could switch DLI. So whatever you're studying, the money you're spending would actually count towards your PGWP. So yun po yung pwede
Bro, may
magawa doon.
tanong dito. Kahit pa saan sila sa isang bansa, pwede sila mag-apply sa ng study visa.
Sorry, nalito ako.
I mean, nagtanong kasi dito, sir, nandito kami sa UAE, pwede ba kami mag-apply ng study visa?
Yes.
Pwede naman. I mean, actually, si Sir Mick, most of his clients ngayon, halos
Yes,
taga
out-
Dubai.
Dubai,
Oo,
UAE,
Iba,
basta,
dito na.
Middle East, iba, nandito na actually. Yung iba, mga naloko na kailangan na ng
Yes.
remedyo.
So guys, before muna, i-share nyo to sa mga kakilala nyo rin. Bago kayo pumunta sa agency, double check nyo muna yung review.
Make sure it's
Also,
legitimate.
kung kaya nyo i-try mag-DIY, we will push you mag-DIY.
Yeah.
Kami, si Sir Vic,
Ako,
nag-offer din
DIY din ako.
ng visa assistance. Pero pinupush niya muna kung kaya mag-DIY,
Yeah.
why not? Diba?
Kasi you'll save a lot also if you do it DIY.
Exactly.
And you also educate yourself and protect yourself by knowing the law and the policies na surrounding that application.
Wala naman sa website ng CIC na you need to have an agent or a lawyer. to
Actually,
process.
ang nakalagay doon, you do not need
Exactly.
a lawyer or a consultant to apply. So that's for consumer protection. I saw a question from Sir John and Ma'am Philomer Duran. Between Hamilton and Kitchener, saan po mas maraming job opportunities for part-time? The answer here is it depends on what industry you are. Kitchener is
Progressive naman yun.
yes, Kitchener is para siyang tech hub. Maraming startups. So if you're a programmer, it's actually a good one. Madami din siya mga long-term care facilities. Hamilton is more of Hamilton is parang ano rin naman Mississauga. Or,
Yeah.
It's very close to the GTA. Like I said, check Indeed.ca. You can filter it by province, by
city.
city, by location, and by the industry you want. So
Depende sa
it depends, yeah.
Depende sa work.
If there's a specific job that you really want,
Yeah. Pero kung tatanong is kung maraming job dito. Kahit saan naman maraming job. Kaya lang, all
wag lang
depends
choosy
on
sa simula.
if it's a skill job or not a skill job. It's a high pay job or if it's a low pay job. So dito kasi mga tao, it has 2 or 3 jobs. So another question, bro. What is your take or advantages for future international students when Ontario province will now apply EOI system? Thank you from John Telemar Duran.
UI system. So, wait, may nag-update sa akin. Yung expression of interest tsaka point system for, I think this is the OINP. Diba? So, by October, they'll be hearing thoughts from people if it would become a point-based system. Is it advantageous or not? It might depend on other factors and also on how they will score yung point system. If the point system has, let's say, impact with age, then if you're on an older age cohort, you might be at a disadvantage. If it's no bearing sa age, then there's no factor to it. We have to wait and stand by kung ano po yung
Updates.
final
By the way,
updates nila doon.
let's do some shout out then kay Sherry Ann Tange Hernandez. Hello mga kuya watching here from Dubai. Hello mga taga Dubai. If you have any question, don't hesitate to reach out. Me, Kuya, Nick, or me, myself. Also, shout out to Anchua Bitog. Hello po, Pabalen. Oh,
Pampanga.
po. Tekungan, from Pampanga. And also, shout out to Alicia and Steph Paras from London, and also Krista Ray Rabanal, isang office mate ko, now wanting to come to Canada and maybe helping them as well. Apa yung question? Hello po, Sir Nikki. Ask ko lang po, asan akong need pa po ng dollar account sa pag-wire transfer po ng fund for GIC. Regular stream po. I think maraming nagkakaproblema nito. Nagkakaroon sila ng return ng from the bank kasi nga, nung dineposit nila, dineclare as US dollar.
Yeah, GIC kasi siyempre.
GIC sa Canadian
Canadian siya.
So dapat, dinideclare nyo siya as Canadian currency.
Parang may nakita akong question dun sa laptop kanina.
Hello from Riva May Camuro Bacasmo. Can I use my payroll bank account for proof of fund?
Yeah, basta nandun yung
Exactly.
basta substantial yung amount to cover the required best practice is you're able to cover 1 year tuition fee plus around $12,000 if you're applying as an individual. Ito sa laptop, nakita ko na. Ano po, hi po mga sir, ano pong pinaka-best na diskarte kapag nandiyan na kami para magka-IPA po kami ng mabilis? So,
nasagot na natin yun eh.
It actually depends. Nandito na kayo, it depends on your status. Are you a worker? Are you a student? Are you a tourist? It depends on what your status is. Let's say, since we are under the study DIY realm right now, let's say kayo ay pag-graduate na, and let's say single kayo, single na lang kasi na-discuss na natin yung OWP.
Okay.
So as a recap, if you have a spouse, it's possible that the spouse becomes the primary applicant for the PR application. Once he or she is able to complete the 1,560 hours in 52 weeks. So it has to happen both. Both has to be satisfied. 1,560 hours in 52 weeks kasi 30 hours maximum per week lang ang pinaka towards immigration application. So let's say, for example, single ka. Walang spouse, and then you're expected to graduate already. Ano yung pinakamabilis na way na magka-IPA? So, during my time, for example, I'm expected to finish end of April. December pa lang, nagsasubmit na ako ng mga application. I was already submitting, may phone-in question ba tayo?
Wala, huwag mo na kayong tumawag.
Huwag mo na kayong tumawag po. Mga phone-in question yata ito from the Philippines. Next time na muna. Going back, wala ako. So let's say, I was about to finish end of April. By December, I was already applying. And I always put in my cover letter during that time that I'm legally allowed to work in Canada. Just so there's no bias na they might think you still need sponsorship and then your application just goes to the trash. Hanap agad ng skilled job. In some situations, for older applicants, some of them resort to provincial nomination. Let's say, actually, isa to sa mga topic na let's say,
pa-happy hour mo po kasi magkakaroon kayo ng specific
natin. We'll have a specific
regarding sa age, mga best
we'll have a specific episode for this. But let's say ubos na yung PGWP mo, and then parang dehado ka sa 440 points. Or let's say na-compute mo na sa CRS before, naka 1 year ka na, 440 points ka lang. What else can you do? There are provincial nomination programs that might be applicable to you. Number one, it depends which province you are in. Some provinces are employer-driven. Yung iba naman, let's say, may human capital priority stream. In Ontario, for example, merong international student job offer stream.
Marami.
foreign worker job offer stream, yung iba, uh, in-demand employer skill stream. So for example, we have somebody na medyo may edad na, mababa yung score niya, but the employer is actually willing to support and provide a permanent job offer. Iba po yung full-time, iba po yung permanent. Permanent is something na hindi siya contract that would expire yung validity ng job offer sa'yo. So, sa case niya, she had this conversation with her manager. Bossing, medyo kapos ako sa points kahit paka 1 year na masusuportahan mo ba ako for provincial nomination. Yung job ko kasi ngayon, pasok sa job list, sa NOC code, sa job list of industry na counted if I meet the eligibility of, let's say, minimum 9 months experience plus the permanent job offer. So if this is the case, then you would be hindi na kayo pasok sa, you would dismiss the path ng Canadian Experience Plus. You would then go for provincial nomination program. But for others naman, let's say 50 points na lang pala yung kulang, hindi 600 points. So yung ibang employers din naman are also willing to participate in an LMIA process. But sometimes it's hard to convince employers, or it's hard to find employers to qualify. So yun po yung mga pakapir natin. We have to, I think it deserves a different episode for this kasi marami pang way.
We promise na we will discuss yung specific path per episode para makaroon tayo ng at least 30 to 45 minutes siguro ng discussion. Para talaga mapaghandaan din namin na ni Kuya Mick yung din.
Yeah.
Kasi right now, ang daming questions, hindi na namin, disclaimer lang, kung hindi man namin masagot sa live video ngayon, I will try to answer the question through the comment na lang, magko-comment lang tayo.
Or we'll just have a recap from the, maybe on the next episode we could have a recap.
Question. By the way, for LOA, pa-shout out pala for Pancho College for sponsoring our cup. And yes, they're open already. Yung September 2021 intake nila, they're open, and also with other schools.
I think that answers Michelle.
Yeah, for Michelle go.
Yeah, question.
Why Pancho? Kasi ito yung Pancho College kasi is one of the big amount of Filipino students natin.
Yes, malaki ang
Filipino students community. Shout out kay Carly at saka kay Steph. Sila yung mga ate. They're national students na nag-graduate na doon. And now they are doing their PGWP.
Yes.
I guess po we have one question.
Saka happy birthday pala kay Ate Carly.
Yes. Happy birthday, Carly. Tan. Yun na.
I think we could maybe take 2 more questions.
Yeah.
Overtime na yata tayo.
Yeah, like I said, we promise you guys that we're going to be doing this more regular basis. I think 2 more questions. Sir, I got my WES or ECA or Educational Credential Assessment of 2 years post-secondary back on 2017. Through web form, they gave me a confirmation that if I apply for upgraded report, they will upgrade it to bachelor for 4 years. Can I use the ECA updated to document by document to apply to express thanks in advance?
Kasi si ECA used to check kung
used to verify the educational credential kung ano equivalent.
Sorry, hindi ko mabasa nasa laptop. Kasi si WES, World Education Services na certification, what it does is ascertain na yung inaral mo yung equivalent niya. Ideally, for international students, dapat na makuha nila yung bachelor's degree. There are also other education organizations. Yeah, there's IQAS.
Yung WES. By experience lang, yung WES kasi, sorry bro.
Yeah, sure.
Pinakamabilis silang response. It will take us 2 to 3 months makapag-response na sila na anong equivalent ng course mo sa Pilipinas. Yung ICAS naman, by experience, na ano ko din, na
Sometimes they're more generous.
generous siya pero matagal.
Yes, we've been getting feedbacks from fellow DIYers na. For example, si Wes only gave you 2 years. 2 years. 2 years.
Diploma.
Pero nung nagpa-IQAS, nabigyan naman ng
3 years, but
3 years bachelor, which is good. But also make sure na when you're requesting this document, it's for immigration purposes.
Yeah. And we would recommend na habang nandyan pa sa Pilipinas, please do process your ECA, exactly, West or ICAS kasi matagal po siya and it's valid for 5 years.
It might be easier for you to communicate with your school also if you're there.
Yeah.
We have experiences na yung ibang schools, they're not as responsive online, so people have to send somebody. So it's good if you always have it to do already.
I think may isa niya tayo na, sir, nagsara na yung school ko.
Yes.
Paano kumuha ng credential? Ang usually, ang may experience din as an educational, education consultant, ang ina-advise ko is go to CHED and get a copy of your, kasi lahat naman ng nag-graduate may SO number, so you can contact with CHED and get the credentials from them. Since kung close na yung schools, you know. Okay, one more question, bro.
May question si Mr. Mark John Bashar.
Okay.
It's about, do we have any idea if malilift na yung travel ban? Meron po ba kayo idea kung makaka-travel pa rin papunta dyan? Yung mga na-approve. I think Kuya Nikki could also confirm this information. Merong mga schools na decided that the programs are done online.
Pero ano kasi, we never know. Kasi for example, nagtatanong, sir, yung January ba, online pa rin ba, or pwede na pumunta dyan? But honestly, even schools right now, they don't know.
Yes, right now,
They assume as
yung
online
schools
pa rin.
medyo actually nangangapa din sila sa online nila ngayon. The students are also adjusting because it's done Canada time. So baliktad yung oras sa atin. Regarding the lift of the ban, we don't know yet. The borders are still closed. Even the US-Canada border was closed and it's still further extended. So yun.
May ano tayo bro, John Patrick Pineda. Sir, fan show here, 5 days lang labas ng LOA ko. Actually, meron kaming less than 24 hours na process namin yung LOA.
May parang 2 hours lang? 2 hours, 1 hour?
Basta kompleto lang yung kompleto lang yung documents. Usually, requirement ng fan show is through us is high school credentials, tsaka college credentials, tsaka passport. We don't need the MOI no more. At saka we process the LOA for free. At the same time, we waive both IELTS and registration for Financial College. And also some of our partners. Okay.
Ito, last question daw. John Patrick Pineda. For example, you have your GIC na po. Do you need affidavit of support ng father? Ako, since siya po yung magpa-fund ng pag-aaral ko. It depends how much you put in the GIC. If the GIC is sufficient to actually cover your stay here, baka yung sa tuition na lang. I don't have 100% knowledge of your application now, but assuming na nagbayad ka na ng tuition fee, tapos may GIC ka pa, then
na-address mo na yung fund mo eh.
Na-address mo na, extra mo na lang yung sa father mo. If you still want to add some more, then it's also okay.
Sometimes kasi bro, di ba magiging ano pa yun? Parang bait sa immigration. Kasi bayad mo na, bakit nangihingi ka pa ng sponsor?
Sometimes, yes, na baka mapasama pa. It depends on also the quality of the sponsor.
How you present it actually.
How you actually present it.
Bro, ito bro, kasi si Sarah, medyo, shout out pala kay Sarah.
Sarah Gayadi?
Yeah.
Okay, so ang tanong niya, IRCC reform, Manila and Canada. Magkaiba po ba? Saan po ba napupunta ang mga finance applications? It depends. Uh, there are case processing centers, CPC. Some are in Edmonton, some could be in Manila, some are in Mississauga. Sometimes case processing centers, they have a specific one. For example, family sponsorship is in Mississauga. Edmonton, I think they process student applications as well. And sometimes nandun din sa Philippines, yes. So, yun po. May time pa ba tayo?
Shout out na lang kay Riva. Guys, thank you very much for really for joining us this our debut for our evening with the Kuyas. We'll promise to continue active and we'll do another session.
Right
with
now,
this one.
we just have some technological hiccups.
Yeah. Right now kasi medyo ano lang. Once again, we want this debut kasi exclusive lang namin sa study permit kind of DIY piece.
Yeah, I think next time what we'll do is provide a link sa Zoom ba?
We'll try to do a Zoom that can cater a lot of para at least kahit na hindi member ng study permit, but we usually invite them to be a member para naman makita nila yung mga updates at saka yung mga success stories.
At saka Nick, bago pa natin makalimutan, so naturally, for you guys to be updated, you can like and share the study DIY video. I think sina Kuya Nikki will also upload it in the YouTube.
Yeah,
and then
Sun-Cor Facebook.
Yes. Before I forget, just a friendly reminder sa mga nandito na and sa mga nag-aantabay. For example, kasi if you remember previously, there was a policy that allows international students to work full-time if they're working as an essential worker. That policy already ended August 31st. So, ingat po tayo, baka full-time pa rin tayo ng full-time, hindi na pala pwede.
Yes.
Number 2, yung mga nagtatanong sa AIP policy, approved in principle policy. Right now, if you haven't submitted your application, it's not applicable to you. This one ended September 15.
September 20.
September 15 siya natapos. Kailangan submit yung application by that time. If, for the benefit of those who don't know what AIP is, it's a two-step process. The first stage is eligibility, where they check your funds, your home ties, etc. And the second one is admissibility. You might be approved for eligibility stage, but that doesn't 100% guarantee you'll be approved for stage 2 where you can actually travel here now. Sometimes you might be approved for stage 1, and unfortunately, you might get denied on stage 2. So there's no guarantee. Yep. Also, for those here already in Canada, starting September 21, some of the Service Canada services will slowly start to resume service for, let's say, citizenship, PR application, PR biometrics, just for some parts of Canada, and I hope slowly but surely they will be in full force again. Number 4, DFS Cebu will be open next week. So yung mga biometrics,
Yes.
passport submission and stuff. Swerte ng mga taga Cebu.
Yeah. Ayay, mga taga Cebu.
Ay, mga taga Manila, antay-antay pa po tayo.
Kung pwede na kayo pupunta sa Cebu, pupunta na kayo doon.
Saka ano pala, Kuya Nikki, dahil I noticed nasa 15,000 members na.
Yeah, in celebration
Study DIY. So,
the 15K members of the
Study
Study
DIY.
Permit Canada DIY PH.
We'll offer,
Yeah.
or I'll offer, I'll pick three lucky students or applicants that will have free 1-hour one-on-one consultation with me.
Basta mag-comment lang kayo and also share
Yeah.
our...
So maybe we'll come up with the mechanics for that. Obviously, we need proof na they participated. And then we'll just randomly pick it. Stay tuned for that.
Basta
How that promotion will work. Libre po ito. Walang bayad. I'll be the one that you will be talking to. So rest assured na I am legal to provide you.
Actually, isa
Legally
din
allowed to
bro, you
provide
can
immigration
search,
services.
iba may website sa mga immigration consultants.
Yes, actually,
Para sigurado kayo.
pwede nyo i-check sa RCIC registry kung yung kausap nyo na sinasabing consultant sila, legitimate ba talaga? Kasi hindi naman lahat pwede sabihin consultant sila. There's a governing body that actually sanctions people and make them legal to do this practice. Also, for consumer protection,
Exactly.
mas okay po yung may pananagutan sa Canada yung kakausapin nyo versus mga tinatawag natin na ghost consultants na parang sa atin kolorong. hindi, walang insurance, hindi
kasi
covered.
Pag sa atin kasi pag naloko kayo,
naloko na.
Ibablock lang kayo sa Facebook o magsara yung
tangay na yung pera. Tulad ng mga kinikwento sa akin ng mga clients na lumalapit na lumaan, na naloko, lupa, nag-resign na pati yung nanay kasi sabi pag na-PR yung anak, automatic PR na yung nanay. Sakla pa doon, sabi, pag graduate, PR agad. So,
that's why you really need to study and research.
Marami pong naloloko. Tsaka yung iba dahil sa quota, lahat na lang sasabihin para lang magpa-sign up yung aplikante. Kawawa naman po pag naloko. So mukhang ubos na po yung oras natin.
Once again,
20 minutes natin, naging 1 hour.
Once again, yung Sun-Cor, in behalf of Sun-Cor, Unlimited Inc. Once again, Sun-Cor Unlimited Inc. is an international education consultancy. I am the owner of it, Kuya Nikki, and I can help you process an LOA to any of the schools, DLI, all over Canada. And with a partnership with Micmic, is
Canadian Corrales Immigration Consulting Services.
Yeah, we can help you process visas, study visa, tourist visa, PR, PGWP,
spousal sponsorship,
yes,
parent sponsorship, anything related to Canadian immigration. I think it's safe to say we'll do our best to make this a regular short talks. Maybe let's aim for once a week, and then as the schedules permit, maybe we could do it more often. Para po, we'll do a shorter ones. Siguro recorded na lang, hindi na live para mas continuous yung flow. Like
or we can do live.
Or we can do live too. Whichever is more comfortable for everybody.
Basta stay safe, everyone, especially your family. And then, prayers lang talaga. But again, I always tell this to my mga nakilala ko mga DIYers is his plans is way better than our plans. Just really continue to pray and have faith with him. So once again, guys, thank you. And we'll post the mechanics kung paano yung
sa ating
panalo
sa tatlong lucky applicants natin that will
benefit the 1 hour,
one-on-one each person. So, tayong dalawa lang po mag-uusap.
Okay, guys. Once again, have a great evening until the next evening with the Kuyas.
Good evening, good morning. Have a great weekend and stay safe.
Bye.
Bye-bye po.